Hello, Jen. It's an interesting question you ask, and I'm glad I stumbled across your video. I actually first saw Earnestly Seeking's response to you, and came to see what you had asked. I can see how you would be kind of confused hearing, a bunch of former Jehovah's Witnesses online talking about how the organization denied them a college education, and then you talk to your professor who says he's had a lot of students who are Jehovah's Witnesses. And to be blunt, it actually makes it sound like the former witnesses are lying. But they're not. And if you've spent much time learning about Jehovah's Witnesses, then you probably know just as there are multiple layers of authority within the organization, echelons of power, there are also multiple types of forbidden activities and multiple kinds of punishment or sanctions that are given. Going to college is actually one of the lowest sort. To most witnesses, it's not even really viewed as something that's morally wrong in itself, although sometimes the Watchtower organization has presented it as an attempt to make one's home in the system of things. In other words, they're rejecting God's kingdom by trying to get a good education and get rich in this system. But the most common way over time that they've discouraged college is, as Earnestly Seeking pointed out, they give horror stories. It's a place where people are fornicating their heads off and smoking marijuana and, doing all these other terrible things, and you don't want to go to college because they'll try to involve you in it. Generally speaking, they present it as being full of the spirit of the world, as if, you go there, you can't maintain your status as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And, in fact, on a side note, to an extent, they're correct in that, because being a member of a high-control religious group and learning about critical thinking aren't necessarily compatible. So a lot of witnesses who do attend college do actually wind up leaving the religion. But anyway, it's not treated directly as a sin, but it's very strongly discouraged. There are two types of witnesses who are likely to attend college anyway. Surprisingly, the first is children of elders, also as Earnestly Seeking mentioned. And I think that's just because elders have the clout in the congregation that they know they're not going to be condemned by their members for sending their kids to college. If you are a rank and file member and you decide to send your kid to college, you have to be concerned about, even though you're not going to face official sanctions, you're not going to be disfellowshipped or shunned, still other witnesses in the congregation may come to view you or your children as bad association and refuse to spend time with you or be your friends. But elders don't have to worry about that. So elders are one group that are more likely to send their kids to college. And the other group are children whose parents are not both witnesses. It's typically the father who is not a witness. And for the child to go to college is seen as kind of a concession to the non-believing parent. So that explains why, on the one hand, a lot of former witnesses talk about being denied an opportunity to go to college. I myself am one of those people. I am going to be graduating after this fall semester at the young age of 32. I didn't go earlier in life because of having been a witness. If you are raised a witness and both your parents are devout members, or you only have one parent, and you don't have a father who's an elder, it's very unlikely you're going to go to college. And you're going to look back at that and see that the primary reason you didn't go to college was because of the horror stories and appeals to fear they used to discourage your parents from sending you there, to discourage you from going yourself. As far as the doctors and lawyers at Bethel, what Earnestly Seeking said was true. They are people who came into the religion after having achieved their degrees in higher education. When you are a young man or woman who is contemplating going to Bethel, which unfortunately I can say at one point I was one of those people, you learn some of the rules, the things they look for in the people they're going to take. You have to be healthy, you have to be in good standing in the congregation, you can't have been, disfellowshipped or reproved for several years or, whatnot. You have to be between certain ages. I think the cutoff age is 35. And they will make some concessions, especially on the age and health, if you have a medical or a legal degree. If you're unhealthy or you're 40 years old, they wouldn't ordinarily take you to Bethel unless you have a medical or legal degree, and then they'll make special concessions. But if you're a young witness who is considering going to Bethel, they will make clear to you that if you try to get a legal or medical degree to improve your chances of going to Bethel, it will count against you. They're much less likely to take you, which may actually be a load of crap in the end. It could just be something they're telling you, again, to keep you from going to college. But that's still a message you get. So the people with advanced degrees at Bethel almost invariably will have gotten them before they became Jehovah's Witnesses. And only certain groups of young people among Jehovah's Witnesses are likely to go to college. The average rank and file witness is very unlikely to send their kids there. So I hope that answers your question.